Hey, happy day. So it seemed time for an update for those who are friends, associates, those who care, those who are interested. So currently, I happen to be living and working in South Dublin, but let's go back to the start, which would be this time last year. In fact, yesterday last year. I got rid of pretty much most of my earthly belongings, barring maybe 5 boxes of my most personal items, papers, the kinds of things that we need to hang on to in life because they're important for bureaucracy for the most part, and then a few sentimental items. Um, I also had to rehome my cats. It was a very, very hard day. I felt like I had lost my mind. I did definitely was mentally and emotionally unstable. Uh, I stayed with a dear friend for a week before going off to Cape Town, where I was for 6 weeks. The whole idea behind that move forward was I was going to set up my business, wellness, massage, reflexology, holistic therapies in Cape Town. But it's very difficult to set up a business with no capital. So I happen to have renewed my passport and happen to be looking online at opportunities abroad, and I came across a care work agency in Ireland. So I signed on with them. However, I've ended up flying to the Isle of Man early March last year and stayed with my daughter and ex-husband for 6 weeks and happened to find a job in the Isle of Man. However, when you've been doing what you do for 15 years and happen to be good at it, it's very difficult to settle for less and for minimum wage when the cost of living itself is so much. I'm not at a stage in life where I'm willing to compromise to the degree where I don't have as much energy and effort to expend in a certain time frame. So I need to maximize my the benefits out of my time, my energy, my space. And so that's what last year mostly was about, these little leap pads from one opportunity to the next, always improving, not settling for less. So I then happened to go to Germany for a couple of weeks to reconnect with my brother, half brother, and I went back to the Isle of Man. I found another job, but again, the pay was good, but the hours were still not great. And I ended up starting a, a long term living care position in October, early October. So last year was a very fluid year, lots of movement, lots of motion. I slept in about 13 different beds over the course of the year, including floors, couches, what have you. So I literally did pretty much couch surf. And the foreseeable future is to be here now doing this. I do feel like I'm getting ahead, so I'm able to build up a little bit of capital, just to give myself some leeway in whichever way I want to move forward when the time comes to move in a direction. But for the meantime, uh, I'm elbow to grindstone, uh, just focused on doing the best job I can where I'm at, uh, with making the best of the resources I have available to me. So, last year, if I reflect upon what I learned, what I gained, what I lost, ultimately it boils down to learning to accept that things are as they are and not as I wish them to be. And that was quite a nugget. It took a fair amount of digesting, but I think we're there. So far this year, my awareness, it has been on to really focus on people's actions and not their words, is really important, because I'm often fooled by people's words because I want to believe what they want me to believe. However, their actions often contradict or tell a different story to the words, and I'm learning to look at what people do versus what they say. So it's a interesting integration phase. And then the other thing that I'm kind of working with is I really starting to understand through reflection and experiences that I have made my own life hard in many ways, and understanding how and why and what drives the decision making process. So, going from always being so serious about the impact, the heaviness of life, there have been a lot of heavy burdens to carry with single parenting and marriage dissolution and my business not working out, etc., etc. So I'm learning to focus on. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. When I think about the past, it really sucks me in. It really was a vortex of hardness, difficultness. Oh, that's it. So I'm learning to be playful with the decisions I'm making going forward, and experimenting different applied ways of thinking in order to appreciate a situation, scenario, place, space, person in a different light that is more lightheartedness, and that allows me to balance the serious bureaucracy of life, the things, the societal demands, the rules, the regulations that are imposed upon us, versus what how can I live that my heart and my being and my expression of my being feel free. And I'm noticing that theme is coming up fairly regularly lately, where people are feeling, and it has to do, I believe, with Pluto coming into Aquarius. It's changed signs, and it will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And an Aquarius ruling planet, Uranus, dictates it's fast and it's about change. In fact, the sign for Aquarius, people often talk about it as water, and they get confused and think Aquarius is a water sign. But those signs you can actually think of as vibrations, waves of electricity. And I've had a curious experience when a couple of months back, when I first got to Ireland. They had a blackout for 12 hours. We had no electricity, the whole area. And that's unheard of here, especially for that period of time. Normally, the infrastructure is pretty good. So if there's electrical down, they fix it within an hour or two. So to have a whole 12 hours of no electricity in a first world country, in a modern city, seemed crazy. And it doesn't seem to happen that often either. So it's an anomaly that it happened while I was here. And then this past weekend, when I was in Amsterdam, our hostel had a 2 or 3 hour blackout. And I overheard a girl say that it also never really happens. And an anomaly is that I happened to be there. So I sometimes get the sense that the frequency of my being often impacts my surroundings, but I also feel that it, the inverse is probably true, in that the externals seem to have this effect of wanting to rewire, but I'm not really up for rewiring. Anyway, it's getting long video, and I just wanted to give you all a quick catch up. I'm feeling compelled to do videos again, as I did during the lockdown. However, I have neither the will nor the inclination to do so at this time. So let's see which way it goes. If I'm which direction I'm pulled more towards. I really just trying to bubble myself as much as possible in order to focus on what I need to focus on and really be responsible without losing the lightheartedness of life. So, blessings for this year. Namaste in Lakesh.